Welcome to the latest edition of Insurance Questions Podcast number 70. Boy,
Ooh.
it's really cool that our podcast number and your age is the same thing, Don. That's pretty cool. That's
Oh,
pretty
that's pretty cruel.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty
No,
cool.
cruel.
I don't know about that. And just so everybody knows, no sassy Sarah today. And you know what? I'm gonna give her a break. We've been really busy the past couple weeks. I'm not even gonna be sassy Sarah today. I'm not gonna do that, Don. I'm too tired.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And as we always tell everyone,
What's your job?
all the opinions, all the opinions statements by Donnie Lowe and Eddie Buffalo are purely for entertainment purposes.
And then I guess I'll do what Sarah says, right? Click on the like, subscribe, send us fan mail, whatever, all those buttons that
Oh,
are
the new
usually down
button.
there.
Yes, the new fan mail button. That's
That's right.
exactly what they call it, which I thought was kind of odd, you know.
I know.
Do you
I
have
know.
fans yet, Donnie? I bet you do. You're probably going to be like the breakaway star on this thing
I don't think
because,
so.
well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. A lot of people have been talking about it. We are in the middle of submitting a proposal from one of the major networks for a TV show for Insurance Questions Podcast. God help America. That's all I gotta say. God help America.
Or God
And
bless America for
God
that
bless America.
potential
Pledge
opportunity.
allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Or you could turn around and use your boxing gloves because look at how patriotic those look.
Where did the salute come from, Don? Do you have any idea?
The salute? No, I'm not sure about that. I'm sure you probably know.
I know a lot of useless stuff.
Yeah,
So back
I
in
know
the
about the handshake, but not
You're
the
right.
salute.
So back in the time of the knights, not the Knights of Columbus, the real knights, like with the tin cans on and that I mean, they didn't have any markings on, like, okay, here comes Donnie Lowe. I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. So if you knew me, you would say, and I wouldn't try and kill you.
Ah,
I thought that was kind of interesting.
that is interesting.
You know, this is supposed to be annuities podcast, not our maybe podcast, but we're kind of like going up. See what happens when Sarah's not around to holler at us.
I know we kind of get off track a little bit.
So Donnie, I was texting you guys late last night and early this morning. You guys were checking on me because that's the closest I ever came to tornado, and it wasn't even really close. So I live in the town of Greenville, Texas. We're a little bit northeast of Dallas, and I was at a meeting at 7 o'clock, and we cut the meeting short so everybody could go home. I mean, the clouds were ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that. And there was a couple farmers at our meeting. They said, "Oh, Eddie, don't worry about it. If you see the sign, this, getting really quiet, and then the sky looks a little bit green, oh, you need to find a cover." I'm like, huh. So I get home, and it starts pouring. And Don, you saw the pictures. I don't know how well you could see it on the video I sent. The hail was about the size of a marble.
That's what I was gonna ask about the hail. That's crazy.
But it was really weird because after it was done hailing, just because of the warm weather, not the warm weather, the warm rain was actually melting everything. And I
wow.
was looking out my sliding glass window out up to the parking lot of our apartment building, and I saw a woman and her two kids stuck in their car because they were not going to get out of that car.
Yeah. Wow.
And I've been terrified of hail since I started coming to Texas because my kids are like, "Oh yeah, it'll ruin your car." Like some of the dealerships, they have hail sales because the cars will
Wow.
get demolished with the hail. And then after the insurance companies come in, they can just sell them as is. In Texas, you can still buy a car as is, which I think is crazy. But what do I know?
Yeah.
I better get a
That's
heck of a
interesting.
deal if I'm buying it as
Yeah.
is.
I'll tell you, talk about hail damage to cars. I can't remember how long ago this was, maybe say 10 years ago, 9, 10 years ago. I was in Rochester. I was in an office,
Hmm.
on a call and for a meeting, and it started hailing like you cannot believe. When I went outside to, go to my car, I had hail dents all over the roof and the hood of the car. I goes, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. I mean,
I
you could
guess it
see
can
the
even
hail
break the
bouncing off the
windshields.
cars,
That's
you know?
insane. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but you really gonna buy a car that looks like a golf ball with all little dimples in it? Like I
No,
said, I better be getting a really good deal to
exactly.
do that.
Exactly. Then you can pull those little dents out.
So, all our listeners, I need you to like and subscribe and press all those things like Donnie said, because girls aren't here today. Sassy Sarah ain't here. Katie B's not here.
Yeah.
And this
Robin's
morning,
not hiding in the wings either.
right? No. And the numbers we had this morning when I checked them from yesterday's episode, we were at 1,000,009.
It's
So
incredible.
it's pretty incredible. If anybody you
It
want to
is.
hear us talk. So we gotta beat that. I feel like I'm in a telethon. Yeah. Donate $20. 716-306-2020, and we'll put it to good use. Do you remember
Now,
Soupy?
when's the music coming on, right? The
Do you,
band.
do you remember that broadcaster Soupy Sales by any chance?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I remember the story about him that he had a TV show. I think he was out of Chicago and it was syndicated all across the country. And he got into a lot of trouble. He said, "Okay, boys and girls, what I need you to do is go to mommy's purse or daddy's wallet and find the pieces of paper that have pictures on them and send them to Uncle Soupy."
Oh my
And they
God.
did. It's like all this cash starts coming into the TV station. Like, holy cow,
Uncle Soupy Sales.
Hey, Soupy says, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
really.
even know
Oh
if
my
he's alive
gosh, that's
anymore.
crazy. I don't
Here's to you,
know.
buddy. You just got a holler out from a holler out. You just got a holler out there,
A
girl.
holler out? How about a
Yo,
shout out?
holler, holler, holler. Since we've like gone way off, if you are in the Dallas Metroplex, the Knights of Columbus in Greenville are having their May Fest May 18th. And they start cooking everything like Thursday night for that Saturday. I have not experienced myself yet, but I'm really looking forward to. They have smoked brisket,
Mm,
beef, and pork. So that sounds
wow.
delicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your buddy Eddie Buffalo will be there. He'll be outside working the bar. I think they gave me that job because they know I don't drink beer. Yeah.
Ah.
If it was a tequila bar, that day I would be like taking out the garbage or something or washing
I-
dishes. Yeah,
I'd be nervous if it was a
I
tequila
know,
bar and you
right?
were somehow behind that bar.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So Don, how are you been? What's going on with you? What's new and exciting?
Ah, just doing the daily grind like I'm sure all of our viewers and listeners are doing, just trying to get ahead of the game a little bit. And so since today is Annuity Thursday, I thought we can just talk about some of the rates because we really don't talk about the rates and some of the benefits of an annuity and how you can utilize that in your overall financial plan. So, I took a quick look and seems like the rates right now for, say you have a deferred fixed annuity, and we'll just throw out, $100,000 annuity. So
Okay.
what that means is you have you have, say, some safe hidden money or whatever, low risk money, and you want to put it to better use. You can put it into an annuity. And right now the rates are right around 5%, 5.1, 5.15 for $100,000 annuity. And I checked for CD rates from banks, what banks are offering, and they're really close. So a 1 year CD rate at a bank is averaging around the same between 5 and 5.15%. But that's for 1 year. With
Yeah.
the annuity, and I know you want to jump in here, but those rates are good for 3, 4, and 5 years. So it's very low risk. But so a lot of people will ask, well, if I've got a CD paying at pretty close to the rate, why should I get an annuity? What are the advantages? Well, one of the advantages is when you get your interest payment on your CD from a bank, that is, you have to be charged income tax for that, or it applies towards your tax. For the annuities, that interest earned is deferred until you start actually annuitizing or withdrawing the funds from your annuity. So that's one great advantage right there. I think one of the other terrific advantages of an annuity is that it can be also utilized as a death benefit. So, you can designate a beneficiary, and even if you do not qualify for life insurance, maybe due to some health issues or even age, you can qualify for with the annuity because there are no health questions at all for an annuity, yet there's a death benefit coverage there.
And
Jump in, Eddie.
I'm glad you brought up CDs because it was something that I haven't really thought about. And I think I mentioned it briefly last month. I was a little bit taken back. One of the guys that I know, he's like, yeah, I had a CD for a year. It didn't make a lot. I think it made like 3.4%, but he was happy with it, you know,
Hmm.
and he forgot that the CD was coming due. So the bank automatically put it into something else for him, another CD,
Mm.
and the yield on it was 0.01.
Oh my gosh.
So a lot of people don't realize, and it's going to be different at every lending institution, that
Right.
you better know when your CD's coming due and to do something with it, whether you cash it out, whether you put it into another one. Because if you don't have any input into it, they're going to put in just whatever they can. That's probably going to make the bank the most money. I mean, right
Right.
now, especially banks here in Texas, there's so many cash deals on houses that they're not making the money on the mortgages anymore.
Uh,
So there's even
Interesting.
banks in Texas right now trying to compete with whole life insurance. I know we're talking about annuities, but just as an example, a lot like we were talking yesterday, a lot of the dividends are, hovering around 6%. Well, a lot of the banks here, just because they need the business, if you put $10,000 into a savings account, guess what they're giving you, Don? 6%.
I 6% on a savings
Six
account.
percent. Got to be
Wow.
at least 10 grand because
Okay.
they're aggressively going after the business right now that they're losing to whole life and to annuities.
Yeah. Do you know how long that 6% is guaranteed for? By
No.
chance? No.
Mm-mm.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And that happened like about 6 months ago. The bank started doing that here, which I thought was kind of it just made me laugh because I was equating it with the whole life policies that a lot of the carriers have because like I said, they are right around 6%. Son of a gun, there you go. 6% if you want to put in a savings account. Because I mean savings accounts have been dogs for so long.
Yes.
You're just not making it. It isn't like I don't know if you had those or not. Did you go to school in Buffalo when you were a kid?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the pass books?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I remembered it was either
Absolutely.
every Tuesday or Thursday. My mom would send in with a couple dollars in the book, and they would actually write in the book.
Yeah.
I wonder if I still got any of those back home. That's just, you know.
No, that's so true. Very early in my professional career, I worked for a bank and in Buffalo, and we still had the passbook savings,
Was
accounts.
it printed in, Don, or did you actually have to write it
Well,
in?
at the time, we would actually write in, okay, this person's coming in, they want to make a deposit. We would write in, $25 or whatever it
Right in the
was.
passbook?
Right in the passbook, we would stamp it, initial it,
That's
and
amazing,
then
isn't it?
then
How things have changed.
it went to absolutely. Then they kind of upgraded it, and then you would put the passbook into a little machine, and it would print on that line for you whatever that transaction was, a deposit, withdrawal, interest, crediting the interest to the account. So yeah, so that's kind of ancient history, you
Yeah.
know. It's wild about how things changed, you know.
Oh
And
my
here's a
gosh.
little trivia. Little
Uh,
trivia. You
yeah.
ever hear of the company Paychex?
Yes.
Do you know who founded Paychex?
Yeah. The guy that used to own the Sabres. What was his name?
Right. Tom Golisano.
Tom Golisano. Yes. The Rochester
So
native.
from Rochester, New
He's still
York.
alive.
He is. I think he's married to, believe it or not, Monica Seles, the former
I
tennis
think you're right.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere down in Florida they live.
I bet you she
Where there's,
married him for love.
oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
both of them had money, so you really
Oh,
can't.
I know. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Tom Golisano, before he founded Paychex, he worked for Burroughs Company. And Burroughs was, they were in the banking industry. They had I mean, we're going way back. This is in the early 70s, when you would go in, you'd punch in some numbers on this thing, put in the book, slam it down, and you can use it like that. So he used to work for a company that did that for passbook savings and that. Pretty wild.
So you sold me, Don. I want to get an annuity. Um, I got some money from my aunt, you know. So
Yeah.
how much cash can I bring you?
Cash you cannot
Cash. I
bring.
got it in my mattress.
Yeah, unfortunately we cannot accept
Why
cash.
not? This is America. It's good money. What are you talking
It
about?
is
What
good
do you
money.
mean?
It is
Why can't I
America.
just give you money? I'll just go to some other guy then, Don.
Well, that other guy will not be able to accept cash either. So there are different rules and regulations, both at the state and federal level, that prohibit any insurance company from taking cash. And that's even taking cash for a first month premium on a life insurance policy, or taking cash as a payment if you have an ongoing annuity where you want to make payments to it on a regular basis. We just cannot accept cash anymore.
You know what's crazy, Don? And I don't know if you know a lot of older fellows. I know that, they would tell us stories that once a week they would go to the people's houses and take the premium, their monthly
Yeah,
premium.
I
So,
know.
and that would be cash, but I mean, a lot of times it was like $1.35, 57 cents. I'm like, it was really worth it back then to, do that. That's just insanity to me. And
I
I'm sure
know.
people weren't home all the time.
No, and that's how they in the insurance industry. I'm sure with other industries, it was all door to door. You just go to a neighborhood, go down the street, knock on a door, try to do business, and then you just follow that right down the street.
So as Katie was saying yesterday, she had a lot of questions, which I was surprised she actually had a lot of questions about taxes, which kind of blew me away. So let's try to start from square one. Okay. I
Hmm.
came into some money. I got about 300 grand that I want to do something with, sitting in my savings account, not making a lot of money back in New York because it's not getting the 6% that they're getting here in Texas.
Right.
What should I do with it, Don? How do I get the process started? Who do I call? Do I go online? Do I check it out? Do I call somebody? Do I ask my family and friends for advice? What's the best way for me to start trying to figure out what I want to do with my $300,000?
Well, I would suggest that they call the EBI agency, and one of our professionals can walk them through the whole process. And we have to make sure that whatever your intentions are, we want to make sure that they're suitable for what your needs and wants are. I can tell you right now, if somebody has just inherited 300,000 and they want to put all of that $300,000 into an annuity, we probably would recommend that they do not do that,
I need a new
because
picture. That's an old
yeah,
picture.
maybe an updated one. But it may not be in their best interest to put all that money into an annuity.
Why, Don? Why? I want to put all
Because
my money in there. You're a salesman, aren't you? Don't you want to make a big commission? Is that what's the most important thing to you?
no, the most important thing to me is making sure that I'm a client. and providing them with the proper information so they can make a very educated decision. The sale is secondary. The commission is secondary. It's more education and doing the right thing for all of our clients. It's a standard that we live up to, Ed. You know that.
Oh yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time for the show
I know you are.
purposes, you know, because we laugh about, your parents, my parents, cash was king.
Absolutely.
I remember when I went on a call, it was actually somebody that I went to high school with. I didn't know him very well, but I knew of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy because he was into collectibles, cars.
Oh,
And he said, "Hey, this sounds fantastic. I want to put I think it was like $367,000." I'm like, "Great, I can help you out." What blah 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 blah. He goes, "I'll be right back." I'm like, "How's he going?" He came out with a shoebox full of $367,000. And I'm like, dude, I can't do this. He goes, why? It's cash. Why we don't like money? I go, it's not that. We have to have a trail of where you got this from. It could be drug
yeah.
money. I mean, I believe you that you got it the right way, but the government doesn't.
Yeah, that's so true.
But I'm just throwing that out there because it has happened to us. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
had similar things happen to you too.
Oh, I have, talking with small business owners that sometimes some of their clients pay them in cash. So they're asking, well, can I fund this policy with cash? It's not on the books really. So I said, unfortunately, cannot do that,
Hmm.
so
And I'm so glad we did partner up with Sarah because there are so many taxable events that can happen to you, whether it's an annuity, life insurance, or anything.
yeah,
And
exactly.
you don't really think about that stuff because who really sits around and thinks about this stuff until it happens to them?
Right, right.
Like even yesterday it was funny that Sarah wasn't aware that the death benefits were tax free.
I know, I know.
Hmm. So, you
And
know,
that's a great thing. And that
and
that could be a topic for another podcast.
mhm.
We can talk about if, God forbid, parents pass away and they've got minor children, under the age of 18, how should they receive the death benefit?
Well,
And how should it be set up? We can delve into that in a different
Well,
podcast.
I'd like you to just touch on a little bit right now. Okay, say that somebody's uninsurable. Okay. But they're
Hmm.
sitting on maybe 100 grand and they want to do
Hmm.
something with their money, and they can't get life insurance to leave it to their family.
Right.
How could you give them a product like an annuity and have it have a death benefit? And my question is, when the death benefit does get paid out to the beneficiary, do they pay taxes on anything or do they just pay taxes on the capital gains? Because I talked to a lot of different people and there's a lot of different school of thought because it is a death benefit.
Hmm.
But if you're looking at something and say, I don't know, you had it for 10 years and your $100,000 grew to $160,000, does the beneficiary have to pay the capital gains tax on it of the money that they made?
So that's a it depends answer. It depends. Did the money go into the annuity from a qualified account? So meaning maybe a
What does
transfer
that
from an
mean, Don?
IRA.
Tell everybody
Uh,
what qualified and unqualified
so
means.
so a qualified as it's if, for example, a 401k or an IRA, money that goes into there is taken before taxes are deducted from your payroll. So it's qualified for a tax deferment, basically. So any money going in qualified would be taxed or taxable when it's withdrawn. If money goes into an annuity, say, simple numbers, $100,000 that goes in from non-qualified money or after tax money, there is tax to the beneficiary. However, it is based on the capital gains. So that initial $100,000 is tax-free. Whatever the gain is would be taxable.
Let me ask you this, Don. How can we avoid having to take that money at all? Meaning, okay, you're my beneficiary, I passed away.
Mhm.
And are you able to continue that annuity if you want to, or do you have to get it cashed out?
No, you can turn that money into another annuity under the beneficiary's name. You can
Now,
use that as
here's
the source of your funds to fund that annuity, but there,
now
you still would be responsible for the tax.
to make it simpler, is there any way to avoid that? Like, say, if you were going to be my beneficiary anyways, can I make you a co-owner of the annuity? Is that possible?
There are joint owners, and I'm hesitant here because I'd have to double check. I'm not sure if it's strictly for married couples or if it can be non-married couples.
It's a gray
Or
area. Yeah.
yeah, I'd have to look into it. And my guess is that by state there are different rules,
And
and
plus,
even
with
by company.
so many different partnerships in personal relationships too, it's a
Yeah.
very fine line that everybody's walking right now because nobody wants to get sued, basically.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know.
Exactly. But that's why, come to somebody like us or one of the members of our team because we'll dig into all that for you. So you don't have to worry about that.
Now, say if like I'm really conservative and I don't want my money going into anything bad, Don. I want to know where my money's going. Is there any institutions out there that only I don't want to say Catholic, but believe in like Christian morals and values in that and will only put their money into products like that?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great thing. There's such a diversity of institutions. So life insurance companies are the only companies that are allowed by law to issue annuities. There are such a wide variety of life insurance companies that some are very conservative with their beliefs and investments, and some are very liberal or progressive with their beliefs and investments. So you're able to select a company that fits more of the way you live, basically, and what your beliefs are.
So, Don, I don't believe in cash. I don't have any money. I'm one of those guys from Williamsville that all I have is Bitcoin and gold bars and a couple
Gold
platinum.
bars.
If they're on sale, I'll get some platinum bars. It's mostly gold and Bitcoin. Can I
Yeah.
use that directly to fund an annuity?
Right now, again, to the best of my knowledge, there are no insurance companies taking Bitcoin, but I believe that will be changing in the not too distant future. But there's, again, with the federal government trying to see how they can regulate cryptocurrency, it's kind of that line. I think the companies, because most insurance companies, investment wise, are pretty conservative.
Oh,
So
100%.
they don't want to take the risk,
Now,
basically.
I haven't heard on the annuity side, but I know on the insurance side there is a company, and I'm if sure if one's doing it, there's a bunch doing it, that
It could
the
be.
death benefit's actually going to be paid out in Bitcoin.
Wow, that's pretty
I
remarkable,
mean,
I
obviously in
guess.
our home state of New York, we're not going to see that for a long, long, long time,
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't
because of
think
all the
so.
regulations in New York.
Yeah,
But it's an exciting time. I know. Oh, it's exciting, annuities and insurance. It really is because there's so many safe ways to make more money with your money that the best thing you can do is just start a dialogue, whether it's me, Donnie, or Joe Blow down the street, as long as you
yeah,
talk to somebody, you know.
yeah,
And,
exactly.
and please, if you're starting to think about doing something, do it. Because when you don't, either something bad happens or you're gonna like, "Ugh, I could have made all that money and I just didn't do it.
Or I could have not lost a lot of money because I didn't look at what all the options were. So that's something to consider too.
So I'll never forget that when I was early in my career, I had a gentleman that he passed away
Mm.
and his wife was super mad at me. Why? Because that's all the insurance he had. I blame you. you should have been a better salesman and sold him more. I'm like, what? You know, I mean, it's my fiduciary responsibility and yours too, Don, and everybody that does our job should be their fiduciary responsibility to get
Right.
their clients something they need and can afford.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
because we touched on it a little while ago. It's like, okay, I want to get $100,000 annuity. Can I give you like $20 a week until I get to the 100,000, Don? You know,
You
a
can
lot of
start an
people
annuity
think
that
that
way,
way.
but yeah,
You know, a lot,
yeah,
and it's okay because you don't have to know that stuff, folks. That's why you have guys and girls like us, you
yeah.
know. So I think this was a pretty good show today, Don. Sarah probably ain't gonna like it.
I don't know.
Whatever, whatever.
Not as good as if Sarah was with us,
We're not
but
as good as Sassy Sarah, but who is, right?
that's right.
So, like we always say, if you like working with people that are just like you, we're the people to come to. We changed it up. You can see it's www.ebiagency.com. That stayed the same, but we have a dedicated number now for the podcast that you should be able to get a hold of somebody, whether it's just to say, "Hey, I like the show," because I'm really interested to see now that people are getting used to seeing that button on all our audio podcasts to either message or email. It does remind me of the old AOL days. You got mail, you know because in fact the company we use they call it fan mail, but a
That's
lot of
right.
them come out as text depending on the platform, so that's pretty cool. But okay, do the Sassy Sarah thing again that we usually have her do.
You have to like, subscribe, hit the buttons below, hit the fan mail, send us your comments. We would love to interact with you.
Whether it's good or bad, that's the only way we're going to have better shows, you
That's
know
right.
so for your buddy Donnie Lowe and your buddy Eddie Buffalo and Sarah, we missed you, honey. Oh my God, it's so funny down here in Texas, like, hey sweetheart, hey honey. They don't like that. I get
Uh,
called on that, but that's how we talked back home. You know what
you
I
gotta be
mean?
careful.
So Donnie, honey, it was nice.
Oh,
It was a sweet show, honey. I loved it.
oh, I'm not even gonna comment.
So until we meet again, next Tuesday, another Taco Tax Tuesday.
That's
And
right.
we are keeping our Mondays and Fridays open for special shows. If something happens in the news, something happens in our industry, something just happens personal that we want to talk about. Like we had the boxing on my boxing gloves. People are still
That's right.
talking about that, which I'm kind of surprised at, but I'm surprised at about a lot of things. So once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see everybody again. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Don. You did a good
Ciao.
job, buddy.
Thank you, Ed.
Okay. Well, I always gotta look for the button to turn this thing off. It drives me crazy. I'll get it one of these days. We're only on
One of these
episode
days.
70. We just started. Who knew?
I know.
Okay, Donnie. Nice talking to you, pal. Bye.
Likewise.